Hello and welcome to how to apply a fret knot to your instrument. So it's a little tricky, but you know, if you're careful, it's gonna work just fine. I have already cleaned the fingerboard with just a damp cloth. You wanna try to get all that grime off, because when our fingers touch it, you know, we leave some oily residue and that stuff kind of cakes up after a while. It's just kind of gross, so clean that off until the fingerboard looks nice and clean. Most instruments have a solid ebony fingerboard. This is the densest wood in the world, and so you're not going to do any damage to it. Just give it a good scrub. Okay, now I have taken the fret knot out of the package and I have removed a small piece from the top, so you can see the backing is partly removed, and I've placed it underneath the strings. And I'm going to take just that small piece and slide it all the way up to the top of the instrument, to the point where it touches the nut. This piece up here is called the nut. Used to be made of a different kind of wood. Nowadays they're kind of solid ebony usually. So sometimes you'll find them made out of something different though. Okay, now it's got these little lines that are the guides that are going to show the edge of the fingerboard. That's the solid black line on the side. And you want to line it up, and you want to think about lining it up so that the whole thing, not just the top piece there, but the whole thing is in line. So even though we're just concerned with placing that part, we don't want it sliding down at an angle down here, because if we do that, the whole thing's going to stick on funny and you'll get little bubbles and stuff aren't so good on here. Okay, so there it is. Got it in place. It's looking alright. It's lined up. I can start pressing down this first part, and I'm going to start from pressing down the center. I'm going to press down the center piece first, like that, and I'm going to work it out to the edges. And I'm only going to apply the very top piece of it right now. I'm not going to push it down on the sides until I'm all the way done. So now that that's on there pretty firmly, I can take some of the backing here and I'm going to pull it down to reveal more of the sticky part. Just kind of roll it down a little bit. And I'm going to do it about one or two of these little fret marker lines at a time. So now I'm at the yellow one. I pull it down the same way. Push it down nice and firmly. Right now, your finger is fine. When we are at the final step, I like to take a credit card or a driver's license or a business card and kind of press it down. And that's a trick I learned from my dad, because we did a lot of vinyl work, because he is a graphic design artist. So when you press down vinyl, it gets like a nice tight finish up against the thing. So we're working from the inside to the outside. Do-do-do-do. And I'm pulling down again. And you want to make sure it's still lined up, because as you're doing all this pulling, sometimes it has a tendency to jostle one way or the other. So make sure that our edges are still in the right spot. Looks like this is coming down nicely, firmly. Just pushing it down to the edges. Pretty bubble-free so far. And then it's tempting to want to pull it off all the way at the bottom here, but I'm still going to do another fret or two. And leaving the backing on keeps it propped up a little higher, so you can just push it down well without forming bubbles. It's actually an ingenious little piece of vinyl. Now I'm at the last piece. Now this one I still don't want to remove all the way, because then it'll just flop on. I'm going to take it down to about that very last one and still leave the paper on, which is why this video is going through all of it. Now I'm at the purples and greens. And now, as I do this last one, I can pull it with one hand and push it down with the other to get it nice and centered. This is not vital that you do it this way, but I know that it'll just make it work a little better. Alright, now the piece is completely off and I can still push it down all the way on the side. Now if you want to, you can use the strings to press down on the vinyl to get it nice and tight. At this point the thing would work just fine. It's just kind of nicer to get it all in place like that. And then, just like we kind of worked from the center out on each side to get it bubble free, we're going to do the same thing with these strips on the side. So I'm going to start from the middle of it and then kind of work my way down one side, and then start from the center and work my way down the other. Feathering it at a little bit of an angle. And all those years of working in my dad's shop are paying off right now. Okay, and that side is firmly pressed down. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now you'll see there, depending on the type of fret knot you have, for the size of instrument you have, there's also a measurement for how far away your bridge needs to be from the string. And I'll show you what that means, and it's all on. Okay, now this is where you can take a little card and just kind of press up against it. I don't have a credit card, I've got a little piece of cardboard though. That puts an intermediary between the two, so that presses it down a little better. And then once that's all rubbed on there nice and well, take it off. And the last piece that we want to make sure is that the bridge is the right distance from the string. So this one says that the string length should be 325 millimeters. There's a tiny thing on the side that tells you, depending on the size that you got for your instrument. And what that means is that it needs to be 325 millimeters from where it starts right here at the nut to where it meets the bridge right there. Generally that means that if your bridge is in between these notches, the inside and outside notch of the F hole right there, see how the feet are lined up between that? That should be the right distance. So you can take a standard ruler. It needs to be in metric, because we're going to use the centimeters, and remember that 10 centimeters, so you can see this here, 10 centimeters is the same as 100 millimeters. So we need 300 millimeters, or 30 centimeters, and 25 more, which is a little bit longer than I have on mine. So I have to do it in two measurements, but if I start from there, and then kind of hold the string, or make a little mark on the string, then I need to get 25 more. And this one is spot on, because I just did it a few minutes ago, so I know that mine's right. But that's all you have to do. Now that we've done that, you've loosened the strings, then you go and tune the strings. When you tune, because we loosened all of them, start with the middle two strings, get them so they're like tight enough to make some sound like they are right now, and then do the rest of the tuning the rest of the way. But there are separate videos on how to do tuning. So that's how you put on a fret knot. If you have any questions, leave a comment in the comment section and I will try to help. This is a little bit of an undertaking, so if you do it, then bravo, good job. Congratulations, because it's, you know, not like anything else in normal life. Okay, I think that's all. Good job, thanks.